year ago, we were on the Mississippi going through New Orleans. Now, a year later, here we are on the Mississippi again, at the other end. What a trip.
I just love this picture. This is where the Illinois River meets the Mississippi River, there at Grafton. And we were at the top of the mountain, the ski lift, and it's just glorious. So Jody and Mike from No Agenda came and picked us up along with Riker, Cuddy, and Swin, and they took us sightseeing in St. Louis. So one of the things we wanted to do was see the Anheuser-Busch facility there, so that we went on this tour. So this is from they built it in the 1850s, I believe, and it was really interesting. We got to see the Clydesdales horses, and they told us some information about how things were done. But the buildings themselves were beautiful. They really were. We had a great tour guide, and I don't know. It was just a blast from the past. It was like a picture into the past of information. We were able to see also how they brewed and I don't really care for beer, but I did drink some beer on this one. We also went to the Arch there in St. Louis, and we went to the museum that's in the base of the Arch, and we had a little area where they talked about Lewis and Clark. We created our own flotilla this last night. Lake House boat created it for us. There's a group of us, I think there's about 12 of us, that are trying to get locked through today. We left Alton Marina. Back here is the Alton Bridge and the Alton Marina, and we all left around 8 o'clock, and we just heard that the last barge went through. The lockmaster had asked that we all get out of the marina and in the queue, so there's a lot of us meandering out here trying to keep from hitting each other and keep from hitting the walls. But we're waiting for the lock to open. We've got 2 locks today. We're at the Mel Price lock right now, which is right outside of Alton. And then we have the Chain of Rocks. And then we're going to go to Hoppy's and spend the night tonight. That'll be the last night that we tie up for a few days.
Well, we're in the lock, just south of Alton. Here's us all tied up to the bollards on the wall. And all the bollards are squeaking. It sounds like the song of the sirens. Pretty funny.
So we are at the infamous Chain of Rocks split. So you look this way, you look to your starboard, and there are rocks and falls over there. 20-foot waterfall is over there. And there's a sign that says, to go to your left. And that's the direction that we're going. Following our little flotilla today. So after a couple locks, we ended up in St. Louis, passing by St. Louis on the Mississippi. And we went right by the Arch again, the St. Louis Arch. And it really is a wonder to see. It's a great tribute to the people that went west. This was the gateway to the west.
Well, it's early morning, Thursday morning, I think. We've had a cold snap for the last few days. It's been really cold, like 26, 27, 28. When we woke up in the morning, this morning it was 31. We're at Hoppy's, about 25 miles south of St. Louis, and we're all up and stirring. We've got one of the dreaded days on the loop, if you ask me. When you start looking at the loop, what are the requirements for doing the loop? Well, one of them is you have to have a height of less than 19 feet 6 inches or so, because you have to get under that bridge in Chicago. Then the next one is you have to be able to go 250 plus miles between fuel, and today is the first day of that. So we may have to go 110 miles today, which will be 30 miles farther than we've ever gone, and then anchor in a little diversion ditch off the Mississippi. Normally you could go to a place called Kalkaski Lock, which is up a little tributary not far, and anchor there, but that is closed for dredging. There's a possibility that it may open today before we get there, and we could be able to do it, but I don't know how much the hope is. So Laura and Katia are very worried because it's a long way and we may have to anchor right at dark, and we got to go fast to get there. Instead of going our usual 8 miles an hour, we're going to have to go 10, 11, maybe 12 miles an hour to get there before dark. It'll be 110 miles, a long way. So we are getting ready, and it is cold, but it's a beautiful morning, and the adventure begins today down the uninhabited part of the Mississippi River, I guess. So tomorrow we'll try to make it to a lock, and the next day we'll try to make it to Paducah, which doesn't have fuel either, and the next day we got another 40 or 50 miles to Green Turtle Bay. So we're looking at 4 or 5 days, no fuel, no water, anchoring every night. It's awesome.
It is a cold morning. We left Hoppy's this morning. It's clear, and now we've got some fog on the water. It's not as cold as it's been the last few days, and it's going to warm up into the 60s. I'm so excited. We got an early start. Riker's up there. We've had a couple boats pass us. We're just trying to get warm. We're getting to warmer weather, we hope. Even though it's industrial, there's a lot of industrial areas on the rivers. There's still this beautiful, the beautiful scenery, and I just really was taken by this train passing through such beautiful trees and the nature that was here. So we've been passing all these big barges. The barges are getting bigger and bigger as we go down the Mississippi River. I think this one has 24 barges on it. Bigger and bigger. We left Hoppy's bright and early and did end up traveling the 110 miles to get to Little River Diversion Channel. It was a long day. It took us about 10 hours, but the current was with us, so that increased our speed a little bit. But we ended up anchoring up in the channel with Riker and had a good night.
Well, it's about 6:45. It's pretty cold this morning, not as bad as the last couple of days though, and we are here in the Little River Divergence Canal. Apparently this is a spillway for the town of Scott, which is just up there in the next direction, and there's about 8 or 9 boats in here anchored up. I don't know how many you can see down there, all the way back to that kind of bridge. We were the last ones in, so we will be the first ones out. You can see the canal, and this is the canal as it exits right behind us into the Mississippi River. We came in here so we wouldn't get run over by a barge in the middle of the night. This is one of the few places you can do something like this. That's why we went 110 miles yesterday. But it's a cold, calm morning. Not too much, no fog yet. But inside this little canal here is a nice, safe anchorage for the night. And we've got an anchor going out, and then Riker came in next to us and in the opposite direction and dropped their anchor up there, and then dropped back, and we wrapped it off and had dinner tonight. And now we have a stern anchor and a bow anchor, even though we used 2 bows. Okay, we're gonna get ready to go here. Just a few minutes, gonna start our engines and we'll be out of here.
So we're getting pretty good at rafting up and unrafting, for that matter. We had an easy morning untying and pushing Riker off.
And then once he was gone, I spun the boat around. I spun around so that I could keep the propellers always in the middle of the channel there, instead of spinning around the other way and taking them towards shore. And then we headed off into the Mississippi.
They told us to be really careful coming out of this channel because you're right in the middle of a turn, and if there's any barges coming, then there's really no place to go. So we're on our last day on the Mississippi River. We have commented that there's so much area on the Mississippi that there's nothing. Nothing on the bank, just wilderness. It's very pretty. There's lots of industry, but there's lots of wilderness. We've been on the Mississippi for a couple of days now. And here we are coming through. And this opening here is the Ohio River. If we kept going, we would go down the Mississippi all the way to New Orleans. But we're not doing that. We're not doing that. What we're going to do is go up the Ohio River. The current on the Mississippi has been pushing us because we're going down current, downstream. So the push of the Mississippi has given us about 2 or 3 extra miles per hour. But as we go up the Ohio River, we're going to be going against the current now. Luckily, we only have to go 40 miles, I think, total on the Ohio. So it won't be a terribly long time, but we are going to be going slower because the current's going to be going against us.
Another morning on the loop. We are in front of Homestead Lock. We're anchored up here in a little pocket on the side of the lock that they told us was for anchoring, and it was a very nice anchorage. It's deep here. It's like 15 to 20 feet deep, but the fetch coming off the wind that was blowing in this direction was pretty rough last night, so we got kind of rocky, but it did settle down. It wasn't too bad. And we're going to head right over there to the lock in about 10 or 15 minutes and go through, and then we're going to make our way farther up. We're going about 30 miles until we get to Green Turtle Bay. No, till we get to Paducah. In Paducah, we're going to stop for the night, and then it's one more day to Green Turtle Bay. But but it's not as cold. It's only like 48 degrees this morning, so it's not quite as bad as the last 2 days we were in freezing. But this is the Ohio River, going down the Ohio River. About 15 miles farther down is the Mississippi. We came up yesterday. We got one boat here and Riker, and another boat behind them by that flashing red light, which is at sea. Very nice, guys.
Well, we are waiting at 7 o'clock for the Olmsted lock to open. It's a beautiful sky this morning. Look at that. Wow. So Olmsted Lock is here. We spent the night in the in front of the dam, or below the dam, I guess. And called him at 6:30 this morning. He said that they would open the lock about 7. So we're just gonna wait and lock through and get to Paducah today.
Here's a little behind the scenes of Adventures Aboard Miracle. Here's Laura filming that last little segment you saw where she was talking about the pretty sunrise. Wherever. I would do the upper one if you can. If you can reach it, if you can't, do the lower. A little more out. There you go. Well, it's okay. You can always tighten it up as it comes down.
You would think that this was a different lock, but it's not. One does not wear the same thing into a lock as they wear out of the lock. Either that or I just got cold. It was really cold that morning.
Well, we're here on the Ohio River, which will be on, I guess, most of the day. And I've been very surprised about what the Mississippi and the Ohio have been. We haven't passed one real town yet on the Ohio. And once we pass St. Louis, Grafton and Alton, St. Louis, and really passed no significant town that you could see from the river. Cape Girardeau had a little bit of presence on the river, but not much. We're about 10 miles from Paducah, which is a big town. But the natural beauty of these rivers is pretty intact. There's the, power lines and bridges and things like that, but there's, it's not like city after city.
We have been on the Ohio River today. We're about to get to Paducah. I think it's just on the other side of this bridge. It's been a great day. Good morning. I don't think it's even noon yet. And low wind. I think the people yesterday had a higher wind, so I'm glad we waited. But we're going to go to the Paducah City Dock, or the Paducah Transient Dock, right in downtown. And we're going to go to the Quilt Museum. I'm excited. So as we arrived in Paducah, Riker was already there, and they were able to help us tie up, which I so appreciate. The city pier here is really wonderful and is right downtown. So we did get off the boat and go up the long ramp and went into the downtown area. We ate at a great Cajun restaurant. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It was a Broussard's, which is a Cajun name. So we had good Cajun food and did some shopping and did some touring around. And the great thing was that they have the National Quilt Museum, and it was everything. It was, people have told me about it for years, and it lived up to everything they ever said. It was a wonderful experience.
And close to the pier.
You can't, no. That is amazing. No. So this quilt is made of wood, and it looks like it's fabric. It is unbelievable. Yeah. I'm just fascinated with these ones that are like a painting. Yeah, it's
unbelievable, really.
Yeah, these are very.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see the ocean and the beach again. So I'm looking at these quilts. Oh my gosh, and these are so tiny. I'm gonna zoom out so you can see how small they are. Look at that. This quilt looked just like a stained glass window. It was beautiful. So there were about 100 quilts in this museum. Every one of them was done just exquisitely. And the last quilt we saw was this Christmas quilt, which they said it took about a year to make, which I completely believe. But it did start getting me into the Christmas spirit. So I was appreciative of that. It's so intricate and so many vignettes that every one that you looked at was different. So it was very, very impressive. The city of Paducah was had a great little downtown area. Katya and I ended up going to a piano bar, and which was good. If you ever get a chance to go, their piano bar they had good. They played a lot of different songs, and it was a lot of fun. So we've been on the Ohio River for a few days now, a couple days, and we are leaving the Ohio River and going on the Cumberland River, which is this direction. But we're right beside these cliffs that are so pretty. I guess that cold snap we had last week made all the trees drop their leaves. There's still some, but not a lot.
Well, we spent the day on the Ohio and the Cumberland River, and now we're in, I don't know the name of the lock. I knew a while ago, but I can't remember. Well, now we're in the lock. On the other side of this lock is Kentucky Lake and Blue Turtle Marina. So,
we left Paducah this morning about 7:30, and we traveled on the Ohio River, then on the Cumberland River, and now we made it to the Barkley Dam, which will open up into a lake.
Kentucky Lake.
It's not Kentucky Lake.
Oh.
But it's the one next to Kentucky Lake. I don't know which one it is.
We lock at last two. Which side do you want us to tie on?
When we leave this lock, we will turn almost immediately to the right, and we will be at Green Turtle Bay.
Copy that.
As we pulled into the marina, Green Turtle Bay, we got fuel. We hadn't had fuel since Hoppy's, so we were very, very glad to be able to fuel up again. The marina is wonderful. The people there, fabulous, and it's a really large location, a large facility. We pulled back out of the fuel dock and had to pretty much go around to the other side of the marina. It was a long way. the marina or this resort area is so big that we ended up renting a golf cart to get around, and also you can drive the golf cart into the town. So their town is called Grand Rivers, and it doesn't have very much there. But what we did is we used their courtesy car. They have a courtesy car at the marina, which is wonderful. And we drove back to Paducah, and we went to Provision and grabbed some dinner a couple places, a couple different nights, and we were able to just kind of see the area. What's there is they had closed down a lot of the stuff at the marina when we got there. It's late in the season. We're in the middle of November, and I just don't think they expected loopers to be this late. So, but they have a really good ship store there if you're needing something worked on. The town itself has a grocery store and a bar we went to that bar a lot. They had great live music one night. We are at Green Turtle Bay. We had a nice dinner at the yacht club, and we are coming back to our boat down our pier. Is this not cool? I love this. Very nice. We're on Pier 6, so if you're ever interested, Pier 6. This is the main pier getting there. For such a small town, they had an elaborate Christmas decorations in this Christmas village, and it really brings a lot of tourists out to see it. A lot of people just come for this. They also had like a little Christmas festival while we were there as well, so that was a lot of fun. But these lights and the decorations and the Christmas music really got me in the Christmas spirit. So if you remember, we didn't do much for Christmas last year, and so this is getting me more motivated I may even decorate the boat this year. Who knows? Well, it may be a little early to get in the Christmas spirit because we haven't even reached Thanksgiving yet, but we're getting there. It's getting close. I've really enjoyed this last section that we've been on because we were able to do sightseeing again. I have missed being able to get off the boat and see things and do things. So I've had a really good time in the last week or two. So thank you for joining us. And as always, we loved hearing your comments, and give us a thumbs up and like us, and I don't know, all that stuff that people say that they need you to do. Join us next week as we continue down the Kentucky Lake and through Tennessee.